Now, even though it's super fun to mess around with these online dividend calculators, sort of extrapolate what the future could look like for a long-term portfolio if an investor stayed the course, kept on reinvesting in their dividends, and compounding their portfolio long-term. In this video, I'm going to share with you the real life, real results, under the hood look into my 7-figure dividend growth portfolio that I've been building for around 7 or 8 years now. I'm going to share with you every single position. We're going to go over some of my favorites, how much in dividends I earn per month, per year, etc. So make sure to drop a like down below, stick around if you want to see the behind the scenes of my 7-figure dividend growth portfolio. Real quick, for those that haven't already, make sure to go to the first link in my description and grab my new dividend investing ebook, where I share exactly how I went from $0 invested to now earning over $6,000 on a monthly basis and over $1 million invested in the markets. Along with the ebook, you're also going to receive my custom dividend tracker, where you can track your dividend progress on an ongoing basis and reach your dividend investing goals. So make sure to grab yourself a copy of my dividend investing ebook and the new dividend tracker today. It's the first link in my description. So for those of you that have maybe never seen the ins and outs of my long-term portfolio, this is basically every single stock and ETF that I currently hold across multiple different portfolios, and every single position has been inputted more or less in my long-term dividend tracker. Now, I started investing like any other dividend investor around 7 or 8 years ago. I bought a few shares of Capital One stock, and then I bought a few shares of ticker symbol low Realty Income, and I was very quickly obsessed with the idea of buying into dividend paying stocks and ETFs, getting paid dividends, and then reinvesting those dividends into more shares. And even though in the early days, this is one dividend portfolio I started several years ago, you can see that the dividends started pretty small. I was earning around $7 per month from Realty Income, then got it up to around $14 per month, $15 per month, $24 per month. But month after month, I kept buying more and more shares. And on top of that, reinvesting those dividends back into more shares month after month until the snowball really started to take place. And even though it did take me several years and basically depositing all my extra money from my active income sources into more dividend paying stocks and ETFs, different portfolios across different brokerages. After several years, it really started to feel like the wind was against my back, and my portfolio started to grow on its own as it was paying more and more dividend income, allowing me to reinvest into more dividend paying stocks and ETFs every single month. Now, as of right now, the portfolio as it sits currently pays around $83,000 more or less per year, or around $6,900 every single month. Now, these numbers are of course estimated. Not every single dividend stock and ETF across my portfolios pays the exact same amount every single month, so take that with a grain of salt. But regardless, over time, the portfolio has been able to pay me more and more month over month because, like I said, as the dividends get bigger, as the compounding effect takes place, the portfolio just starts to sort of build off of that until it reaches a point to where it sort of has a life of its own. Now, to look into the nitty-gritty of my actual portfolio, share with you some of my positions. As of right now, I currently have 1,756 shares of the BlackRock Enhanced Equity Dividend Trust, or ticker symbol BDJ. I then have around 1,487 shares of Devo. I then have 1,262 shares of Verizon stock. I have my 1,000 shares of Apple stock that I've held for years now, almost 2,800 shares of QYLD, almost 2,900 shares of Realty Income, which, side note, as you saw, Realty Income back in 2020 and one of my portfolios was paying me just a few bucks per month. Now across all my portfolios combined, Realty Income pays me $700-800 every single month. I have around 1,200 shares of JetB, around 748 shares of EPD. I have around 700 shares of BST. We got 611 shares of MPW. We then have 510 shares of JEPQ, 300 shares of OHI. We have 246 shares of NewC, XYLD, 194 shares of SEHD, one of my favorite positions. We have 658 shares of SEHD. Then we have 311 shares of Altria Group. We have 261 shares of Triple N REIT. We have 100 shares of JP Morgan, 293 shares of Vici. We have 59 shares of Kinder Morgan. We have 256 shares of Main Street Capital. Walgreens stock, 29 shares, 351 of WP Carey. We have 47 shares of PNW. We have 255 shares of TSLY. Then a few more positions. We got 24 shares of UPS. We have 20 shares of PBA. We have 18 of ABR. We have 16 of EXR. We have 17 of SPG. We have 335 shares of SVOL. We have 9 shares of Stag. T. Rowe Price. We have 8 shares. 19 shares of Kimberly Clark. We have 3192 of VNQ. We have 200 CO. We have 700 PSA. We have 578 SPYI. We have 12 shares of FEPB, 2 shares of DGRW, 4 shares of FDVV, and 3 shares of VIG. Now across the portfolio, you can kind of see that I have a nice mixture, around 40 plus positions, different ETFs and stocks that all offer different things. Some of these stocks, some of these ETFs are a little bit more growth focused, names like Apple, of course, and there's a lot of names in my portfolio that are actually more income focused. And you might be wondering, well, why as a relatively younger investor, I'm currently 31 years old, why are you focusing on dividend positions? Why are you focusing on income positions? Well, for me personally, I do find it very appealing to build a portfolio that at some point in the future can not only cover all my bills and then some, but I also want to build a portfolio that's going to be able to compound its way up to new levels. And by utilizing different cash flowing assets like JEPI or EPD, lots of names in here for example, I'm able to redistribute around $6,000, $7,000 on average at least per month across the portfolio, which has allowed me to buy a substantial amount of more dividend paying stocks and ETFs every single day that the market's open. Now, even though as of right now, how the portfolio sits, it's sort of more of a dividend income focused portfolio with some growth aspects to it, that doesn't mean that later on I can't shift things over if I, of course, want to build a more growth portfolio. Like for example, over the last few years, I decided to build out a massive dividend growth position in SCHD, which is an ETF that I believe, and hope so at least, is going to pay me more and more in cash flow over the years, which I currently, over the last few years, have been able to buy around 650 shares of. Now, I also think it's important to say that throughout this portfolio, there are certain stocks and ETFs that I don't necessarily love. There's also names that I do love, of course. But the cool thing about the stock market, this is probably one of my favorite parts about the stock market, because the market is so liquid, you can go through for the most part and sell off any position, buy a new position, ride it all the way up, etc. So it's safe to say that even though I personally do see some names in here, I do see some spring cleaning ahead, meaning that I'm going to get rid of some positions probably in the up and coming weeks or months, whatever the case might be. For the most part, I would still consider this portfolio pretty solid in my opinion, and it's a portfolio that I'm still building day after day as of right now. The fact that my dividend snowball seems to be growing out of control because my monthly dividend income amount is substantially higher than it even was a year ago. Now, the way that it's gotten so high is because I've been reinvesting my monthly dividends into more dividend paying stocks and ETFs, which of course in turn pay me more dividends the following month a lot of times, which is going to allow my snowball to compound and grow a lot faster. Now, even if your entire dividend portfolio is only paying you, let's say $10 per month on average, or $20 per month, or maybe $100 per month, which is a huge milestone to pass. By reinvesting those dividends into more dividend paying stocks and ETFs, it's not going to be long until you really see your portfolio start to snowball out of control. Now, I don't think this is necessarily going to be a big issue for most dividend growth investors out there. A lot of you guys watching this video are currently reinvesting all your dividends and then some back into your portfolio, but I just want to make it very clear, especially from day one, if you reinvest the dividends along the way, your portfolio is going to grow a lot faster, a lot larger, quickly. So overall, these are the results of basically taking all my active income over the past 7 or 8 years and investing it into different stocks and ETFs across the markets. Now, there's been some absolute massive wins over the years, like buying my 1,000 shares of Apple stock for $118 per share. And there's of course been some losses in the portfolio, like buying into Medical Properties Trust at around $17 per share when it's currently trading around $4 per share, and really developed a strategy that means a lot to me moving forward. So now that we went through my portfolio and I showed you guys the actual real life results of consistently dividend investing over the last 7 or 8 years, I now lastly want to hear from you guys down below. Over the years, what is one stock or ETF that has been sort of your core? What is your favorite across the entire dividend landscape? As of right now, drop the ticker symbol in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to please drop a like on it and subscribe for more future content like this. Thanks as always for stopping by, and if you are interested in investing, make sure to check out these recent videos I posted right here.